Okay, January 19th, 2024, recap on today's work. So I'm learning a little bit better on how to do this, and I'm finding that if I bring Dad in, and I put everybody in like a room, if you will, and we have a chat. I'm getting all kinds of information this way because Dad is able to fill in those gaps that James P. will not.
Will not talk about because see me.
Right. No, see me. Crazy people are all around him. All around him. Crazy people. All right. So just to recap, I went back to the events between 3 and 18.
Okay.
So 15 years. And I got a little bit more clarity that I thought was really interesting. One, I kept asking James, where was your son Henderson born? And he kept telling me McMinn. And I said, okay, Dad, come in here and help me understand. Is he talking McMinnville? Is he talking McMinn County? And I got no on both.
Hmm.
And so, okay, point on the map in our minds that we would understand where he was born. And I got Warren County, Tennessee.
Hmm.
I said, can you explain to me why he keeps referring to it as McMinn? And I kept getting over and over again, that's how he saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I, in my mind, I got Greenfield Pike, and then I understood. I always call it Greenfield Pike, even though now today it's Greenfield Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
I always refer to it as Greenfield Pike.
Of course.
He's no different. Yeah, he's no different. So, they were moving around. He was in the territory, and he always referred to this ginormous area, these Indian lands, as McMinn territory. That's how he referred to it. So when he's telling his son where he was born, he's saying in McMinn, in the territory. Now, I know we've looked at this, and I know in my mind somewhere, I probably know this, but this is what I got energetically. I feel that it was Warren County the day he was born, but James P. either did not recognize it or call it that. He called it McMinn.
Okay. I have a question that came to me that I want to ask.
Okay.
Okay.
And I've got more to tell.
Well, I'm just making a list for later. Go ahead and tell me.
Hester's hanging behind you. It's like, pick me. Wait, I'm not done yet. So, all right. So Victor was in. Please step forward here. Yeah, I didn't disconnect. James B. Brown, are you here? I've got more to tell you, but go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Was the area where Henderson was born near the Collins River?
Okay, that's a massive yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense in your mind?
I think was Hester when she was living with her parents near the Collins River?
Yes.
Okay. Oh shoot, here goes my printer. Sorry, we'll have to wait a minute.
I don't hear it.
Not yet.
Oh,
Okay. That was it. I was just trying to get a better if it was this basically the same area where John and Elizabeth were living, her parents.
I'm getting yes
Okay.
for whatever that's worth. All right, so let me finish with what I have to tell you.
Okay.
Um, so I had him paint this picture. I think when we first figured out it was Andrew Henderson coming through and was there at the time that Anne died outside on the ground after she got her 3-year-old to safety.
Mhm.
I said, first thing I want you to do is tell me what happened. Give me a message. This is why it took a while, because I used my car to give me the message.
Mhm.
What I got was a log had rolled out of the fireplace. Everybody was asleep. She was up in a loft with her baby, with her 3-year-old. And her parents were obviously downstairs. And it rolls because, just kind of how, how the fire just kind of moves as it breaks down. And it rolled out and it hit fabric. And I kind of see a tablecloth, but I don't know. That's just how it sort of came to me. Um, and then it just ignited. I keep getting this whoosh, kind of like it happened like now. And I think the parents they just got, it was like a whoosh, and then it burned, and then it built up this smoke, and she woke up and she knew they were gone because of where the fire was contained at the time. The smoke is billowing, and she gets a blanket, like we talked about, over him. I get the same picture today as I did before, only it was a lot more detailed. She's coming down the stairs. By the way, he had blonde hair at that time, blonde haired, blue eyed little boy. She's getting him downstairs, or, ladder. And as she's trying to come down, she's choking on the smoke. It's acidic, it's smothering her. She feels like she can't breathe. But the blanket's over him, so it protects him. By the time she gets outside, she collapses. And at the time she is in the process of collapsing, Andrew Henderson is coming out of the dark because he knows or sees or does something. He recognizes there's a problem, and he's out wherever he's staying. I don't know, pigsty, sleeping on the ground. I don't know, but he comes to her. Their eyes meet, but she can't say anything. But the pleading in her eyes is, "Take my baby." That's how he understood it. How Andrew Henderson understood it. And so we assumed, or I assumed, in the last time we talked about that, that was, Andrew Henderson was the one who talked about where he came from, the father's family and all that. I did not get that this time. I got something very different.
Ooh.
I got that Andrew Henderson initially took the boy to first Daniel, then William, then Anne. And nobody wanted him for
Huh.
various reasons. And so, but by the time he gets to Anne, they had developed a close relationship. And Andrew grew very, very fond of James P. And I, to the point of spoiling him as best he could in the environment in which they were moving through. He did marry for the reason to have a caretaker for James P., but it was an Indian woman. Either, and I almost feel like she wasn't full Indian. I think she was half and half.
Mhm.
And at any rate, he marries this woman. They establish a cabin, but it's not on any land owned. So they're just like setting up housekeeping. But it gives him a place to sort of, good grounds. I kept hearing good grounds to hunt, get pelts, and supply the family with their needs. So he did have a little bit of more basic stuff, but he would also go out. They would go out occasionally and go a little bit further. And as the boy grew, as James P. grew, he would take him on, 6 months expeditions. And that's what six kept coming up over and over again, where they would go way out in the wilderness. They would, do their trapping and all, get the pelts, and then they would come back And through their journeys, he would always stop at one of the Browns. Only three: Daniel, William, and Anne. Nobody else. I said, did he ever meet Jane Gillespie? And I consistently get no. I get no with Dad. He never had any encounter with Jane Gillespie or Peggy.
Hmm.
It's just those boys. And those boys told him about his dad. So not only was Andrew Henderson talking about his dad and how he died, his grandfather, but that was also being reinforced by his uncles and aunt.
Wonder why I never met Jane.
I don't know, Susie.
Hmm.
By the time he was 18, he had parted ways with Andrew Henderson and was in the process or in a relationship with Hester. And the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, he just kind of rolls forward with that. But by that time, Andrew Henderson is back to doing more migratory stuff. So I don't know, Susie. I can't tell you. I don't know why you never met her.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Maybe that'll come as we begin to ask questions, but it does spawn more questions for sure.
Mhm. That's it?
Hmm.
Okay.
I
And
thought that was a lot. I got hungry. I had to go eat.
no, it is a lot. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, good thing because it can take me into squirrel moment for sure.
Well, okay, so what logic says about the fire and how it started? I mean, that could make sense. Perhaps it was windy. Stuff blew out because it's all embery at night. It makes sense that it probably ignited their bedding.
Oh, and you know what? When you said that, that's the image I kept seeing in my head.
Mhm.
So, sorry for my own challenge. I wanted to see if you got the same image in your mind that I got.
Yeah,
It's like the straw went poof.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. I'd love to know more about the situation that led them not to take him. I mean,
So when I did focus on that a little bit,
mhm.
um, and I kept getting unable. They were unable to care for the boy. That's overall theme with all of them, including Anne. But by the time it came to Anne, I think Anne would have taken him, but he had developed this relationship, this bond with Andrew Henderson. I think he wanted to stay with Andrew.
Could be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, William was unmarried at the time, as far as we know
Right.
at this point. So, and he was moving around a lot. He was probably still surveying.
Probably.
No, I don't know.
I just kept getting unable.
Hmm.
We know what a hot mess Daniel turned out to be.
Yeah.
I get enough lotion on my hands today. They're so dry.
No, me too. Okay, well, that's very, very interesting.
Yeah, but I will say, and it's coming in real strong right now. The time he got to Anne, that's what I'm getting over. Look how this is growing. Um, by the time he got to Anne, he had already developed such a fondness for the boy and the boy for him that I think it was better that he stayed. The boy is better off with Andrew. I don't think he ended up in Davidson County ever. I'm getting a no on Davidson County. I don't think he ever went there. I think he might have traveled through there, in the trapping,
Mhm.
when they were out trapping, when they went further out. But to stay there, I don't believe he ever, stayed
Henderson.
in Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Both of them, Henderson or James B. I think they moved through it in their hunting and trapping,
Right.
which may account for why he never met Jane. I don't
Good.
know. James P. Brown, James P. Brown, James P. Brown. Can you tell us why you never met your grandmother, Jane Gillespie Brown? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and give me your message. Download it into my mind. Okay. They just never came around. It wasn't like it was an intentional separation. It's one of those, I never got around to it. Never had the opportunity. If he did kind of come through that area at the time, um, they were missing each other for whatever reason. I just feel like I kind of in my mind get the two ships passing in the night kind of reference.
Mhm.
It wasn't intentional to keep them separate. Just something that just never took place.
Well, he would have been like 13 when she died. Was when he when when Andrew Henderson contacted Anne about James P. Was she in Kentucky at the time?
Say that one more time.
When Andrew Henderson contacted Anne about taking James P., was she living in Kentucky at the time?
I'm getting no.
Okay.
Dad, can you confirm when Andrew Henderson talked to Anne about taking James P? He never talked to her about it.
Oh, he never talked to her about it.
He never talked to her about it. It's like a list of things to do. Okay. Daniel doesn't want him. William doesn't want him. The next person he could contact would be Anne. Is that right, Dad? Is that how it came in? But by the time they get to Anne, they decided they were going to stay together.
Okay.
Did Anne know? Yes, of course she did. Did Anne want to take on her nephew, James P. Brown? She didn't want to take him on anyway. It's kind of like down the middle, like, yeah, I'll take him, but I'm not going to go out of my way to take him. I'm not going to go demand I raise, my brother's kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna have to think about more questions.
But it's interesting, a good picture that got painted today for his early years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You'll have to listen to that video too, because there might be something I'm missing.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I will.
I'll send you the link as soon as I load it in.
Okay. I wonder
So,
how
yeah,
old Andrew Henderson was when he took on James. I mean, if he was,
James P. Brown, can you tell me how old was Andrew Henderson when when the fire took place that claimed your family? Can you give me how old was Andrew Henderson? I think I asked that last night in that last video. I'm getting around 30, 31 years old. So at least it gives you an idea. 1887, 88, 89, 90. So 1790-ish is
mm,
the fire. Go back 30 years around, and then you should be able to find Andrew Henderson.
mm-hmm, 1760.
Hmm.
So he would have been like a contemporary of, so he would have been about the same age that James P's father would have been.
Yeah, that's how I kept saying it all along.
Hmm.
Was Andrew Henderson, did he physically know James P. Brown's father, James Brown? Did he physically know him? Yes. Were they friends? They were not friends. They were more acquaintances.
Let's find out. Ask again. Where in a present day reference was James P. Bourne.
Okay. Dad, can you step forward, please, and answer this question? James P. Brown, can you tell me where he was born on today's map? Okay, thank you. Was James P. Brown born in Tennessee, what is today known as Tennessee? No. Was James P. Brown born in Guilford Courthouse area of North Carolina? I'm getting Dad's pointing to North Carolina. Was Ann Porter born in North Carolina? Yes. Did Ann Porter's father own land in North Carolina? Her father did not own land in North Carolina.
Did they attend Buffalo Presbyterian Church?
Dad, can you tell me if the Porters, Ann Porter and her family, attended the Buffalo Presbyterian Church in North Carolina? Sometimes.
Well, that was pretty much the case with everybody, I think, at that time. Because it
I
was so.
understand. It's a literal, yeah, sometimes yes and no. Were they considered members of the church? Were the Porters considered a member of Buffalo Presbyterian Church that she was a family member too? Yes. So her family were members of that church. That's helpful
Yep.
if it's not my imagination kicking in.
Well, we'll see. See if we can find a crumb. If not, that's the way we'll write this.
Dad says, yeah, Dad says the crumbs are hit or miss.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's very fragmented. Everything's very fragmented
Yeah, that
in
makes.
what we could find.
How about Anne's siblings? Did she have siblings?
Dad, did Ann Porter have brothers and sisters? Yes. Did any of her brothers and sisters own land in North Carolina? Yes. Did they own land in Guilford County? Is it Guilford County?
Yep.
Yes. Did they own land in Orange County? Yes. Any other counties? Yes. There's other counties they're in. Did her family, my goodness. Um, did she have more than 5 siblings? Yes. Did she have, can you show me the number of siblings she had that reached adulthood? 7 reached adulthood.
How many were males?
How many of the 7 were males, Dad? Can you tell me? None.
Well, that could be why they're going to be hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
It was all girls.
Were they all girls, Dad? Yes, they were all girls. All seven that reached adulthood were all females.
Can we get her father's first name?
Can you give us her father's first name? Go ahead, Dad, spell it out, please. What was Ann Porter's father's first name? Okay. He's giving me Benjamin. Are you giving me Benjamin? He's giving me Benjamin Porter. Is there a Benjamin Porter in North Carolina at that time?
I don't know. If he didn't own land, I don't know if we're going to find him.
But maybe we can find him in the Buffalo Presbyterian Church roster.
Well, I'll look. That's kind of fragment. I mean, what they have central
No, that's and see, that's what I keep getting.
fancy folk, the people that were more prominent made the book in the list. Remember when we went to Buffalo Church, they said they had no records that went back that far.
Right. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. There are I've got a link to it because I came across some actual scanned Buffalo Church minutes, because that's where I found the reference to Widow Gillespie and Widow Brown and the baby that died. Remember that?
Mhm.
So I'll go through and I'll go back and read those again to see if there's anything else, but they are, church minutes. So that would be anything that was, because the church was kind of the law. They did,
Wait a minute. Something's coming in. Dad, hold on. Hold that thought. Widow Gillespie, that's referred to in the record that Sister's talking about. Yes. When they're talking about Widow Gillespie, are they referring to Jane Gillespie? No.
Anne.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's
I always assumed it was Jane. I don't know why, because
no,
it didn't make any sense.
yeah, she wasn't a widow, but Widow Gillespie, and the fact that they drew those two women in to testify that they both came to that birth, that it was Widow Brown, which was William Brown's mother, James the First's mother, Widow Brown, Peggy Fleming Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and Widow Gillespie was Jane's mother.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So all girls, boy, that's unfortunate for us.
No kidding, but that does explain quite a bit why we're having trouble finding her.
Right. Okay. Can we ask if any of Ann Porter, mother of James P., sisters went to Tennessee?
Dad, can you tell us the answer to that question? Did any of Ann Porter's sister end up in Tennessee? No.
Okay.
Did they? I'm feeling like we're headed to South Carolina. Are you taking me to South Carolina? They're headed to South Carolina. All six of those sisters are headed to South Carolina? No. How many went to South Carolina? How many of her sisters ended up in South Carolina? Like four of them. So did the other two stay behind in North Carolina? Did they stay because they were living? Were they still living at the time? Okay, so they didn't die. So two stayed in North Carolina and four traveled or went to South Carolina. South Carolina for four of them. Did their husbands become landowners in South Carolina? I hear backcountry. So did they become landowners in the backcountry? Yeah, they become landowners in the backcountry of South Carolina.
96.
Around 96?
Yeah. 96 district.
Yeah.
Were they anywhere near Broadmouth Creek?
Were any of her sisters around what?
Broadmouth Creek.
Broadmouth Creek?
Yep.
He's giving me a yes. Ah, it's like I see Dad say, well, define around.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He goes, you're around, ever be miles away. Define around.
Right. Right. Oh, I'm getting a district.
Talking within the district, Dad. He's got his sense of humor is not changed.
Well, it's like the time he came to pick me. I called him to pick me up at the junior high after.
Mhm.
Mhm,
And which door? Well, if you just said that door.
I said the one on Field Drive. Well, don't tell me what direction. What direction is it? Don't tell me what street it's on. They wouldn't come and get me until I figured out what direction.
He's
It,
trying to make you learn. He just said that. You had to learn your directions. You were terrible at them.
I still am, but I appreciate his effort. I get it. I get it. Okay. So the Porter sisters that went to South Carolina, were they related to the Hugh Porter that was in the 96 district?
Were the oh, okay, Dad, I get it. Yeah. Um, I hear uncle, but I'm feeling like there's a missing piece there. All right, so show me, Dad. Is it an uncle? Is it a great uncle? Okay, I'm getting yes on both. I don't know why I'm getting yes on both.
Well, there are a lot of Hugh Porters.
All right, Dad, just to be clear, Ann Porter Brown, her four sisters that ended up in the 96th district, did they all end up in the 96th district of South Carolina? Yes. Were they physically, genetically related to Hugh Porter? Yes. Was Hugh Porter an uncle of those girls? And was there a great uncle also known as Hugh Porter? I'm getting, yeah,
Yeah,
they're related to the Hughes, is what I heard Dad say. They're related to the Hughes,
right.
the Hugh Porters. So which Hugh Porter? They're related to the Hughes.
Well, and that's, it's the Scotch-Irish naming, right? All those siblings that were Porter siblings, as they came down, repeated names in the same order. So yes, there were lots of first cousins that had the same name. A lot of people link them to this Nathaniel Porter in Pennsylvania. Ooh, let's ask Pat.
All right, so Dad, can you tell me, was any of the Hugh Porters that Ann Porter Brown is related to, were they related to who?
Nathaniel Porter. in Pennsylvania?
Nathaniel Porter in Pennsylvania. Are those Porters related? So Nathaniel Porter of Pennsylvania is genetically, physically related to the Hugh Porters of South Carolina. Yes, there is a relationship.
Are they a direct line? Is Nathaniel one of the grandfathers, direct grandfather?
Is Nathaniel one of the Hugh Porter's direct grandfathers? I'm getting yes. I thought that answer was going to be no. This is one of those moments that you're witnessing. I'm thinking it's one thing and it's giving me a different answer.
So, the Hugh Porter married to Violet McKee or Mackey, however you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
An uncle of these girls or a grandfather?
Is Hugh Porter that is married to Violet a grandparent to Ann Porter Brown? Is he a grandfather? The Hugh Porter married to Violet. No.
Is he an uncle?
Yes. Is Violet an aunt by marriage? Yeah.
Okay. Were Hugh Porter and Violet Mackey married in Ireland?
And can you tell me if Hugh and Violet Porter were married in Ireland? He's saying yes.
So Anne is a direct descendant of Nathaniel.
Is Ann Porter Brown a direct descendant of Nathaniel Porter? Yes, according to this.
Okay.
Be it ever so humble.
Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go. My lunch buddy's rattling his papers.
Passive aggressive.
No, he just didn't want to interrupt.
Right, I gotcha. Gotcha. I will send this one to you too.
Okay. All right. And you said you wanted to change the way I tune in, which I haven't done yet. So you can let me know what is it you wanted to
Yeah,
change.
because I want to make it very short,
Okay.
but I also want to create intention around a room that you invite dad in because dad is part of the key.
Okay.
Because we're somebody to want to tell us something, dad will.
Yeah.
And the difference in how the pendulum swing is amazing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It works a whole lot better.
Okay. I also have one more thing.
Mm.
Okay. No, not a question. It's a request. Brent Crandall called me to ask about because he saw you'd been posting a bunch of dad's old pictures on Noblesville Neighbors. If there is anything, because he owns Schwartz Trailer now,
Mm.
where the Blue Ribbon Dairy used to be, and he was, if you have any old pictures of that property.
I haven't seen any, Susie.
I know. And I said, you're still going through them because everything's on slides. And I said, so if you come across, because they would like to frame one and put it in their office, but
I don't have a problem with that. He should be able to do that. If I come across it, I definitely will give it to him.
so just, have an eye out when you're doing it. So that's it. Okay. All right. Well, I will talk to you later.
Okay,
Bye.
adios.